Hello everyone. So in today's video, we'll be seeing how do we do a data cleaning exercise for a data where we have all the values listed in just one column, and we want to transform this complete list to a table like this, where we might have, let's say, the first four records, or maybe the first records, every five records as a new row itself. So for this, how we'll do the data cleaning is using Power Query, which is an inbuilt feature in Excel itself, or we can use Power Query and Power BI. That is also possible. So here, what we'll do is I'll just first take the data and save it. The first thing what I need to do is I need to add some new columns to this. So the first thing what I'll do is I'll just add row number one. So I need to add three columns, which will just be different row numbers. So I'll just add two row numbers. One is row number one, two, and three. So the first row number will be a very simple. I'll just write as an index, which will just be a row number for every values. So I have row number from 1 to 24. So I have those many. Now my next thing is I want to denote uh, I want to suppose if I have four records for suppose I have four columns, first name, last name, age, and location. Then I want to have these records as a row number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next set of thing will be the same 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can clearly identify what column do they need to go into. So for this, what I'll do is I'll just write one over here, and I'll just write a basic formula where I'll write that if my above value is equal to 4, then I'll get one value over here. If not, then I'll just need the above value plus 1. So when I do this, uh, after the fourth value, it will put me over here 1. And when I drag drop, I'll get the same value over here. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first record. For the second, I get the same, and then so on. Now my next step is to identify that this is the first record, this is the second, this is the third, and so on. So for this, what I'll do is I'll just do a half uh, thing over here to identify this. So for this, I'll just click on one over here. I'll just put 1, and this will be my value plus 1. So when I do this, ideally, I get the 1 over here, and this is the first one. This is the second, third, and fourth. Uh, for auto-filling this, we'll use the Power Query, and it is much more feasible over there. So I'll just save this data. The next step, what I'll do is I'll go to the data section, and in this option called Get Data, I'll be launching the Power Query editor. So after I launch the Power Query editor, it will give me this pane. So the first thing in the file thing, I'll just click on New Source, and I'll select from the file and the Excel workbook. I'll just select the data from here. So after it shows me the data, I need to select the sheet. So this is the illustration with the arrows. This is the final data, the data which I need to convert. So I click OK over here. So once I get the data over here, the next thing is I'll need to first clean this row number 3 and fill all the nulls. So for this, I have an option in transform where you see, if you notice here, we have any column, and here is the value of fill option. So in this fill, if I have two options, one is down and up. So if in case if I want to fill up, so ideally what it will do is it will take the last character over here and fill all the nulls before it. So here the last character is nothing, so it will remain null. The 6 will get filled up over here, the 5 will get filled up over here. And if I do a fill down, then it will do the opposite. That's what we need. We need this one value to be filled in the below nulls. So for this, I'll just click over here and it fills all the one and twos below the nulls below with the above value. So once I get this, the next step is to identify that these columns, what I need to name them. So what are the different columns which I need to add? So for this, what I'll do is I'll just add a column over here, and I'll add a conditional column because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 marks. So what I can do is I can just rename it that if my row number is 1, then this is my first name. If I add row number 2, this is my last name, and this will be my, I'll just rename the column to headers. I'll add a clause 3. Uh, if my row number is 2, then 3, then it's age. And the last one would be, if it is 4, then it is the location. All right, so once I'm done with this, I'll click on OK. And here I have the headers over here. Now the only column which I'll need will be only the row number 3, where I have the indexes. The second will be my values, and what is my header. I don't need these two columns. So I'll just remove them and move this over here. So now if you notice, this is a complete table which is normalized, and I want to convert it into a pivot table. Pivot table is basically where we have headers. So what we'll do is we'll go to transform, and then we have an option called pivot column. So when we click on pivot column, if you notice, it says use the names in column row number 3 to create new columns. So here I want to specify the column which will create new columns. So here the headers is the column which I want to use to create new columns like first name, last name, age, location. So for this, what I'll do is I'll cancel this. I'll go to headers and then click on pivot column. Use the names in column header to create new column. That's right. And my values will be the data. And in the data, I have different option that I want to count, count not blank, or don't aggregate. So I'll just do don't aggregate because I don't want to count anything over here. I just want to group by and just have those values itself. So once I do this, I exactly have this table. What I need, this is my index, and here I have first name, last name, age, and location. And now in the end, I can just close and load this table, so it will show up the data over here. And this is what I needed from here. And that's how we can convert this data from a list of different columns to a complete table with different column names. So depending on the number of records you have, suppose you have 10, in the formula, you just have to change this value to 10, and then you can change this. So this will be the number of columns you need.